little bit of technical difficulties, but we got it figured out. So I'm Autumn, Education Coordinator here at Studio 23. Thanks for joining me today. If you were able to catch our segment earlier with Val, you saw that we are focusing on the artwork of sculptor Jason Graham. You probably already heard, if you watched the segment with Val, that Jason is an artist out of Saginaw, and he has some pieces in Bay City and around the Great Lakes Bay region. One in particular that I'm a big fan of is his piece that he has right over in Realtor Park here in Bay City. I was actually part of the Leadership Bay County class that was able to install Jason's sculpture in the park. And so it was very exciting and satisfying, to be able to put such a beautiful piece of artwork in Bay City for everyone to see and enjoy at that little Realtor Park. So looking at Jason's work, it is very industrial, would be a great word, I think, to describe it. And so I was trying to think, well, how can I turn that into a family project? So I thought I would show you, this is a little sculpture that I made just out of I had old mat board, but again, you could very easily use cardboard. I figured I would show you some cool ways to make some patinas. And patina is just referencing the finish that makes it look like it's metal. And since Jason works in metal, I thought, like, what a great idea, right? And I was going to do something a little more with it, but I thought, no, let's just keep it abstract. Like, how fun would that be? So if I can do a close-up for you, you can see we have these awesome finishes on it. And I promise you, you'll be able to do these with your family. I've simplified some of these processes, so it's really just paint and things like that you can do. And then you can put together these pieces however you choose. I was just having fun playing with them earlier today, honestly, like they were Legos. It was so much fun. So this is what we're gonna be working on, and let me adjust my cameras really quickly and we will get started on those patinas. All right, we are good to go. So I'll leave this guy right up here. So like I said, when I first made this, I used some old mat board we had, but you could just as easily use cardboard, just something that has a little bit of strength to it, right? Nothing amazing. But and then I have some more here, so I'm going to show you how I got it started. All I did was I took something, so I keep a lot of this black glue around the classroom here for the students. And what I thought I would do is, I don't know if you can see how well you can see this, but I put some little, I guess I tried to make them look like faux nails or rivets or something like that, right? And so that's kind of what I did with my black glue, and then I let that dry overnight. And then I just cut pieces with the scissors, just trying to make them look like basically pieces of metal, just random pieces of metal, right? So that's kind of how I got started. I found anything just to kind of make a line with the glue. So like this is just some old board we had laying around. And I literally just took my glue, and I wasn't even really careful with it. Let's see, there we go. And I just made a line with it. And then I decided, do I want rivets? What do I want to do with it? And then I moved, and they're not all the same size, and I think that makes it more interesting. So you can make them any size you want, or your student can make them any size they want. Great time to use their imagination. A couple more rivets if I want. And then let's say I just want this piece to be this size, right? I could do some more rivets on this side if I want, because remember I'm gonna cut them at the line approximately, so I might, you know, you could even you know, maybe make some kind of gear or something, you know, really try and make it look industrial. This would be a great way to challenge your student, you know, give them some ideas or let them just go for it and see what they can make. You know, just some kind of, you basically just want to make it look like it's some kind of machinery going on, right? Industrial, that's what we're going for. You could do anything like that. So anyways, I did that and then I let it dry overnight. And that's how I got this. I don't know that it takes overnight for it to entirely dry, but you know, I just wanted to be sure. So that's how I started, cut the pieces up, okay? That's how it got me to this. I think another way you could do that same thing with the black glue if you wanted, try hot glue. If your student is allowed to use hot glue, I'd say try some hot glue. And the reason why you want these raised surfaces is because when we go to paint, you'll see those raised surfaces really stick out. You can see those faux rivets on the side there. And that's why you want those raised surfaces, right? So by prepping a little bit beforehand, you'll end up with a really awesome product, right? So then from there, now you'll see I did a few different colors, patterns, whatever you want to call it. I just really wanted it to look like old weathered pieces of metal. That's what I was going for. And I even did some that were even a little bit different color. I wanted these ones to look much more rusted. You could see I even put like some rust splotches on there, right? So, and how I did that is, let's see, I'll take my pieces I haven't done yet. And let's see. Okay, I have these brushes are just old, around here I like to call them garbage brushes because they've definitely been put through their paces, right? So old garbage brushes, and you're gonna just let your student go for it. As far as colors go, I was a little bit particular about the colors I use, but it's really only gonna help give you the proper look, the proper patina, right? So for the more bluish colored pieces, I took some blue, some white, some black, and then I had some, well, I should correct myself. Val had some nice metallic paints that she was gracious enough to loan me. But at home I do have some, and they are actually from Joann's, and they were very inexpensive. They're just the very small craft paints, and I believe they were like $3 or something like that per metallic color. And those will work also. So you don't have to spend a lot of money for doing a project like this. And then, so what I do is I'm just gonna go in with my big garbage brush, right? And I'm gonna start painting. What I wanna do is I want this kind of steel blue, steel gray color right here. So I'm gonna grab a little blue, I'm gonna grab some white, and a tiny, tiny bit of black. And I have a lot of blue there, so I'm gonna go back in with some white. Here we go, let's see, a little more, there we go. Yep, tone that blue down, that's better. Okay. So I'm gonna go in with my big garbage brush, and I'm just gonna start, I'm gonna scumble. I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna, and that is an art term, you're just gonna go in and kind of scribble in some of these colors, right? And that's how I'm gonna start. Okay. And then I'm gonna go in with some of that copper, I think, too. Tone it down a little bit. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. And then you can go in with a little gold, whatever you want, however you want to do that. And then, now I painted this a little heavy, but if you paint it a little lighter too, you'll start to see texture from your cardboard or whatever it is you used underneath, right? Kind of spread that paint out, and you can get an even more different effect. And you can also see on the side here, where you can start to see those faux rivets that I made. You can see they're starting to show from the paint. And that's what we want, right? We want to be able to see that. So let's see. And we'll go in, let's see, I think we'll do a little bit more of that bronze color. And you really don't need a lot of paint. I grabbed a whole lot of paint. Add a little brown. We just want, the more layers you have, the more texture it's gonna pick up, the more it's gonna start to look like these old pieces of metal, right? So we got another one of those. Same thing over here. I probably won't pick up quite as much paint, but see if I go really light, I don't know if you can see that, but you see how it's picking up so much more texture. It's picking up the faux rivets. It's picking up the texture of the mat itself. Like, it's really picking up texture. So when you have a drier brush, it's gonna do that. And that's what we want in a project like this. When you're working on getting patina, that's exactly what you want. And then from there, you could go in again with a little more of the copper color if you want. Blend that in. You really just want to blend, blend, blend. That's what we want. Could do a little white. Could even go in with a small amount of black. Now, when you use black, you really want to go really easy, because black is one of those colors where you can very, very easily go overboard with it. All right, see, and you can just keep adding layers to it so you can get that patina, that metal looking patina to it. And then for the other ones, for these rusted looking ones, I basically did the same thing, but I just used browns. So I used like a burnt umber, which is a much more neutral brown. But again, you're gonna wanna go easy on the paint, right? And I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm just going over it, trying to pick up any texture or pattern or anything that I can that's sticking out on my mat board or my cardboard, right? And since you have to use so much, it's a little bit of a workout, I should say. So it's a fun exercise to do with your kids, because you're really getting them to get in there and get some work done, right? They're doing work. And then, so to do the rusted one, I just took my brown and I mixed it with a little yellow and orange because I want to really warm it up. Throw a little white in there just to lighten it. And then again, I'm taking a lot off my plate, right? Because I don't need to go too crazy with the amount of paint. And I'm really just, this one, the other one I was kind of brushing on like this and stumbling. This one I'm just really going back and forth. I want it to look different. I want them both to look very different, right? And then from there, what you could also do is I have a little bit of my copper paint that I've added some water to. And if you have like a big old brush or an old toothbrush would work great for this, you can go ahead and flick a little bit right on your there we go. I'm getting a little bit on there. And if you can see that, you can start to kind of get the idea of rust spots on there, right? So those are the different techniques that you could easily do with your kids or your students, excuse me, to create these metal pieces or these faux metal pieces, right? So then what do you do afterwards with them? I mean, I was honestly just sitting here playing with them like this, almost like in a Lego way, and it was a lot of fun. But, you know, you could definitely assemble them easily as well. That's what I did here. And if you look closely, you can see that I used hot glue. At first I was trying to find a way to hide the hot glue, but then I realized if I put a finish on it, it can easily look like, you know, something that's been welded on there. I don't know if you can see that. So I think honestly, it's just your imagination is your limit, or your student's limit for a project like this. So this is my Jason Graham inspired faux metal abstract sculpture. This is a super fun project. I promise your students will love it, and give it a shot. If you do, of course we want to see it, right? So share it with us on our Facebook or our Instagram page. And that is it for me today. Up next we have Val, and she's going to do a fun process project inspired by Jason Graham as well. And I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye.